By the time that you're seeing this video, hopefully, if everything goes well, I will be in the Philippines. So crazy for me to say because it's literally been 5 years since I've been to the Philippines and I miss all of my family there. I'll definitely have a great time there no matter what, but that's not what today's video is about. Today, I wanted to talk to you about a Notion template that I've been making for the past couple of months. I've literally been working so hard on this template and I'm very excited to share it with you. It's heavily inspired by Anna Lenkovska's travel dashboard, so definitely go check out her video on a more in-depth template. But I changed a lot of things in my template. I kind of wanted it to be a no-brainer for me personally, but there's gonna be a lot of useful stuff in here, and also I'm gonna give you the template for free. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Janelle. I'm 30 years old. I live with my boyfriend Alex and our 2 cats, and I love talking about lifestyle stuff. One thing about me is that I also really love travel, although I personally haven't been able to travel in the past few years because of school and other worldwide circumstances. But now that all of that is done with and I'm gonna get a job soon, hopefully, I'm really excited to start planning for trips, and hopefully some trips that are international. So without further ado, let's just get into the travel hub. So this is what the travel hub looks like when you first look at it. The first thing that you see is the upcoming trips, and I have my Philippines 2023 trip here, but the dates are incorrect. I don't know who's gonna watch this video, but I would rather have incorrect dates in here. You also have a countdown here, and then you also have the countries that you're visiting. In the navigation pane, I have a bunch of pages here, which I'll get into later. And then when you scroll down, you see the calendar. So the calendar for me is super important because I'm a very visual person, and so having dates in my head is not gonna work out. I have to actually see it on a calendar in order for me to remember the dates, and if I forget, I can quickly glance at it and see what dates they are. And this is a calendar that will be updated by all the trips that you have, and you have a couple of templates in this calendar. The first template is the flight template. If we look at this template, you can add your flight info in here, so that's super convenient for you if you need to quickly glance at your flight information. But I don't have any other templates for this. This is just like a general guideline of how your trip is gonna go. And then finally at the end here, I have the past trips. So any trip that has the tag of past will be put in here. And then I forgot to mention that there's also an upcoming tag, which will put all of your upcoming trips in this upcoming trips section. Okay, next let's get into the actual trips. So I have my Philippines 2023 trip here. This isn't a very good example of how this template is going to be used though, because we will be visiting multiple cities and multiple countries on this trip, but I just wanted to show you how it looks like all filled out anyway. So if we go into here, and I highly suggest that if you go into one of these pages that you open it in full page. This just makes it easier to navigate everything. But anyway, we have the date, we have the tags, we have all of the cities that we're going to be visiting, and we have the countries that we're going to be visiting. Like I said, we also have this countdown here, and this countdown was 100% inspired by Anna's video. She didn't show how she did the formula, but as a software engineer, I figured out how to do it. Basically, whenever you are currently on your trip, so if I change the dates to like right now, it'll say enjoy your trip, and then if your date has already passed, like if I go into the past trips, it'll say 31 days ago instead of 31 days left. So let's go back into Philippines 2023. The first thing that you'll see on all of these templates is the overview, and this is the calendar, the same calendar that you'll see in the homepage of the travel hub. Anything that you add into the calendar here is going to be updated over there as well. And then next I have my cities. Like I said, this is going to be not a good example because it's not what it looks like in the template, but I just wanted to show you how I did it. So first we have Tokyo, and I have an itinerary here, so that way you can organize how your days are gonna go on your trip. I also have the places to go, and this is specific to Tokyo, and then food to eat specific to Tokyo again, and then where to stay. I didn't add all of that stuff yet to Coron because my mom is planning that trip, so since I'm not planning it, I don't feel the need to add that, but I did add it for Manila. I have one place to go. I haven't really like filled this out yet, but I also have food to eat. This is a cafe that we really want to go to, and then we also have where to stay, and these were like the places that I was looking at to stay. Next we have travel documents. I haven't filled these out, But whenever you make a new document in here, it'll automatically add a drop-down menu, and then you just type in whatever title you want to give it. We'll name this itinerary, and then it'll automatically have inside the drop-down menu and embed. You just click on this and then you just upload whatever PDF that you want in here. I put this in a drop-down menu because these documents can get kind of like clunky and it won't look as organized if you just put them in regularly. Next is the trip expenses. This is pretty self-explanatory. Another way that you can use this is you could add like a budget in here, and then let's say your budget was like $5,000, and then move this to the top. And then you could change these to negative numbers so that you can see how much money you have left in your budget. Just another way of using this trip expenses table. And then finally, you could add all of the photos in here if you really wanted to document how your trip went. If you want this to be like a scrapbook for yourself, you could do that in here, and so that's why I added that. Next, I wanted to talk about the navigation pane. The first thing on the navigation pane is the trips, which I've already talked about, and then after that is the countries. If we go into countries, I have them organized by all countries, visited countries, not visited countries, and the countries that are on my bucket list. These are the countries I've added either because I've already visited them or I want to visit them. And then if we go inside one of these, I think the one that I have the most updated is the Japan one. You have a couple of cities that are in this country as long as you add them. You have the continent that the country is located in. You have a checkbox here for whether or not you visited it, and you also have a checkbox here for if it's on your bucket list or not. You also have the trips that you either will go on or have gone on in here. This should automatically be updated as long as you have added the country on your trip. And then again, you have the upcoming trips here and you have the past trips here. This is not updated. That should be fixed now. And I'll make sure that the template is fixed also. So if you wanted to add a new country, I have a template here for that. And let's go into that so we can see what it looks like. I've actually added into the template like some general info. So you can put in here the languages that are spoken in that country, the type of currency that is used in that country, and the capital of the country. And then like I said, you have the upcoming trips and the past trips here. And I think this is fixed. Yeah, this is fixed. So the template is definitely fixed now. I guess I just didn't update some of the countries, but I think some of them are updated. So Brazil is updated, and I have the general info filled out for Brazil. So that's how the countries look like. And then we'll go back into the travel hub and go into cities now. Cities is organized in a similar way. You have all the cities, you have all the cities you visited, not visited, and bucket list. And let's look at the template first this time. If we look at the template, you have the country that the city is located in, the trips that you will go on or have gone on with this city. You also have visited checkbox and bucket list checkbox, just like the country. The thing that's different about the city is you have the places to go, food to eat, and where to stay in this city. So for sure, Tokyo is updated. If we go into Tokyo, we have the places to go, food to eat, and where to stay. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Anything you add into these also will update on your trip. Like for example, if you go on a trip to Tokyo and you have this gallery view in here, it'll automatically have all of the stuff that you can do in Tokyo. Okay, let's get back into the travel hub. And then let's go into bucket list. So I have this bucket list here, and it's actually pretty cool. Anything that I have checked as a bucket list but I have not checked as visited will be in this page. So all of these countries I have not visited yet, but I have them on my bucket list. Same thing with the cities and same thing with the places. One cool thing about this is I have a tracker. So everything that I have on my bucket list, but I did check off that I visited it, will be updated in here. So basically, like if we look at this one, out of the countries that I want to visit, if I've already visited them, it will show up here basically. Does that make sense? I don't know. Let's do an example. So on this trip that I'm about to go on, I will be visiting Japan. So once I check this off, the countries visited tracker will be updated to 38.5%. Let me just undo that because I have not visited Japan yet. But it's basically the same thing for the cities that are on your bucket list and the places on your bucket list. The one thing that I did want to talk about in this page that is a little bit advanced, if you want to make sure that these statistics are updated, you kind of have to add the new country in here because there's an extra property that I have in here in order to make this work. If we look at the extra property, I have this like percent calculation property in here, and it'll automatically say countries visited in here as long as you add it in this page, in this bucket list page. But just in case you didn't add it in here, let's go back to the countries page, and this will be the same for the cities and the places to go. If you added a country in here and you didn't add it on your bucket list page, you just want to click on here, which is next to the percent calculation, and add countries visited on here. So if you forget to add it into your bucket list page, just do that and it'll automatically be calculated in the percentage. Just something to keep in mind just in case you add it in here and not on the bucket list page. I know it's kind of inconvenient, but that's the only way that I can think of to include it into the bucket list calculation. Yeah, super cool thing, and I'm excited to be using it and updating it as I travel around the world. Okay, next is the places to go, which you've already seen, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like. I have this organized in the exact same way: all visited, not visited, bucket list. And then when you go into one of these, you will see the city that it's located in, the country that it's located in, the trips that you either will go on or have gone on. Visited checkbox, bucket list checkbox, same thing. The thing that I've added in here is the location. So just in case you wanted to add these ahead of time, you can put them in here. That way you don't have to look for it when you're on your trip. If we go into the template here, I actually have a spot for some notes here as well. And then whenever you add a location, you have to add this in yourself. In order to add this yourself, so let's go into one of these where I haven't added it yet. You have to go into Google Maps and search for the location that you want to add in. Once you find the place on Google Maps, click on the share button and then copy this link. Then go back into your Notion template and then paste it in here. So let's paste that. And then now you have the location for the place that you want to go to. Next, we have food to eat. I haven't added that many places in here, but it's basically organized by everything, the restaurants and cafes. You could probably add another thing in here. Like for example, if you love boba, you could add like a boba section, and then all you would have to do is add a new type. So if we wanted to add a boba section, you could just add boba and create that. When you go into one of these, you will have the city that the restaurant or cafe is located in, the country that it's located in, the rating. If you've gone there, you could rate this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars, and then the type, obviously. This is the same thing as what you saw in places to go, but I have notes here and I also have the location. So same exact thing, we just have them organized differently. So yeah, that's how that looks like. Finally is where to stay. I haven't organized this in any way possible, but if you go into one of these, you'll have the city that it's located in, the type that it is. So we have different types: B&B, Airbnb, hostel, hotel, other. We have the rating if you've stayed at this location, and you have the star rating, which is how they categorize all of the hotels. And we also have location, but let me go into the template to see how the template looks. And it doesn't have notes, but you can add in your own notes if you want to. Finally, I have what to pack. And this is basically just like a trigger list. So if you're like me and you have an idea in your head of what to pack, but you want to make sure that you haven't forgotten something, you can look at this list and make sure that you have everything. You don't necessarily have to check stuff off on here. But if you really wanted to, you could check stuff off. And what's really cool about Notion is if you highlight multiple checkboxes and you click the checkbox on one of them, it'll automatically check all of these. And vice versa, if you uncheck one of these, you can uncheck all of the ones that you have highlighted. So basically, you could use this and reuse this whenever you want. But I have this in here for myself because I do tend to forget stuff. So I want to look at this and be like, did I bring my moisturizer? Did I bring my deodorant? That's super important. Just for me to check that I haven't forgotten anything. Last thing that I wanted to go over with you is how to plan an upcoming trip, because that's the whole point of this video. So let's plan a trip to Tokyo, since that's probably the one that I have the most filled out. We know that it's upcoming, so let's add it into upcoming trips. And it'll automatically have the tag upcoming since I added it in here. We'll put in some dates here. So let's start with the 24th, and then we'll add an end date here and make it the 31st of August. The cities that we're visiting is obviously Tokyo, and then the country that we're visiting is Japan. The countdown is automatically updated depending on what date you have on here. Let's open this in the full page. Let's actually change this to automatically open in a new page, because that's kind of annoying to have to do that every time. Open pages, full page. Okay, let's open this back up again. And then we can add in some flights. So let's do a flight and add the time here. So include time, 12 a.m., whatever. Let's also change the name of this trip to like Tokyo 2023. We'll do that and then add a cover. You can click on this if you don't feel like looking for images yourself, and then type in Tokyo. And then, yeah, that looks like a good picture. Now that I've added all of this stuff, you can scroll down and your itinerary is already in here. You have all the places that you could go to whenever you go to Tokyo, all the food to eat, where to stay. That will all be automatically populated in there as long as you have stuff in there. Then you can add some documents in here, like if you want to add your flight itinerary, any tickets that you want to put in here. And I also have a button here so you can add more documents if you want. I have a link here to the packing list, and I have a table here for all your trip expenses, and I already have the photos here, which I already talked about all of this stuff. But yeah, that's how you make a new trip. And then it'll look nice and pretty in here whenever you go to your travel hub page. So that is it for my travel hub. Like I said, there's going to be a free template linked in the description. I really hope that you find this useful, and if you don't end up using it, I hope this inspires you to make one for yourself. I really love traveling, and I love learning about different cultures, seeing new things, and just like trying all the food. So I'm really excited to use this. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.